All right, let's jump right into this explainer of Oz Pearlman's absolutely fascinating TED Talk. We're going to explore how the incredible stage magic of quote-unquote reading minds isn't actually magic at all. Actually, as we'll see, it's just the highly learnable science of reverse engineering human behavior. So if you've ever wondered how a mentalist seems to just pull thoughts straight out of a total stranger's head, well, you are definitely in the right place.
Right off the bat, Pearlman shatters the whole psychic myth. He openly confesses to the audience, "I can't read minds. What I can do is read people." He makes it perfectly clear that he possesses literally zero supernatural powers. He's not a psychic. Instead, what looks like mind reading is really just a skill, one he's honed over roughly 3 decades of obsessively watching human psychology. It all boils down to one core principle for him. If he knows how you think, he knows exactly what you think.
To prove this, he runs this brilliant little experiment. And hey, I actually want you to play along with us right now. So take a deep breath, close your eyes, and just like he asks his live audience to do, lock in one famous person you'd want to have dinner with. It can be a man, a woman, past, present, dead, alive, doesn't matter. Just pick someone and really visualize them in your mind's eye. Okay, you got someone? Awesome. This seemingly simple question is the whole foundation for his incredible display of reading microcues.
Which brings us to Section 1, the hook, observing microcues. So, to figure out exactly who you just thought of, mentalists use the power of intense observation. And it is wild how the human body reacts completely unconsciously to whatever thoughts we're holding in our heads. Pearlman brings 3 people from the audience up on stage, and by simply asking if their person is dead or alive, literally just a 50-50 coin toss, he watches their physical reactions. When someone is thinking of a living person, their heart beats a bit faster, they might feel the room getting warm, blood is flowing, and they often just unconsciously smile. It's like the warmth of that living thought physically translates right to their body. But if they're thinking of someone dead, they might project a subtle coldness or even get a tiny shiver down their neck. Pearlman accurately reads this one guy named Ian as having, well, dead guy vibes. He also spots Ian's lingering hands in his pockets, which Pearlman points out as a classic, unconscious, guy-to-guy posture, a dead giveaway that the historical figure Ian is picturing is a male.
Now, reading these physical cues is amazing for stage entertainment, right? But Pearlman quickly pivots to how we can actually use this stuff in our daily lives. Think about the absolute most common memory failure we all share. You walk up to somebody new, you shake their hand, they say their name, and I mean, literally 1 second later, it's totally gone. Poof. Pearlman argues this isn't a memory issue at all. You didn't forget their name, you just never actually learned it in the first place. He says it's like writing a name in the sand with a fragile little twig. The very first wave of distraction just easily washes it away. To really remember it, you need a thick branch to carve it deeply into that sand.
Let's move on to Section 2. The Secret, the Shampoo Masterclass.
To help us find that metaphorical thick branch, Pearlman utilizes this brilliantly simple memory technique. And surprisingly, it perfectly illustrates how everyday things actually hold the key to better habits. Think about it. Every shampoo bottle relies on a total masterclass in marketing. Lather, rinse, repeat, right? It's catchy, and obviously it sells more product. Well, Pearlman repurposes that exact same cadence to give us a highly actionable, everyday superpower for human connection. His new formula: listen, repeat, reply.
So the absolutely crucial point here is to follow these 3 exact steps the next time you meet someone new. Step 1, listen. I know, it sounds super obvious, but it's where we all fail. When someone says their name, we're almost always too busy thinking about what we're going to say next, aren't we? Pearlman says you've got to make your mind totally blank for 2 full seconds and genuinely listen. Step 2, repeat. Say their name back to them twice. Doing this repetitively ingrains it into your memory, and bonus, it confirms you know how to pronounce it correctly. And finally, step 3, reply. And this is where the real magic happens.
Replying is what permanently cements that name into your brain. It is that thick branch in the sand. Pearlman offers 3 really clever ways to do this. First up, you can give a compliment, like, "I love those earrings, Ashley." Now, in your mind, she is forever tagged as Ashley with the earrings, a super strong visual indicator. Second, you can ask for the spelling. Something like, "Hey, do you spell Ashley with an E-I-G-H or an E-Y?" Or third, you can make a personal connection. Pearlman even jokes that a harmless little white lie works perfectly here, like casually saying, "Oh, my cousin is married to an Ashley." Look, even if you don't actually have a cousin married to an Ashley, the deliberate act of making that verbal connection practically guarantees you're never going to forget her name.
Now, circling back to reading people, Pearlman also leverages this fascinating technique he calls the grass is greener approach.
During a show, an audience member named Angera says the dinner guest she was visualizing was Bob Dylan. But Pearlman catches this tiny, almost imperceptible shift in her eyes. He knows instantly that she changed her answer at the very last possible second. So he calls her out on it. And sure enough, she completely admits her original thought was actually Trevor Noah. See, he didn't read her mind. He read that microscopic hesitation in her gaze.
All right, Section 3. The prestige, the power of unshakable belief.
Let's see how this all builds from simple observation into an absolute, unshakable philosophy. People are constantly asking Pearlman if he's ever afraid of getting it wrong up there on stage. Because let's be real, reading people carries massive risk. It is definitely not just some simple card trick that works automatically every single time. To prove this risk, Pearlman humorously introduces this terrible 87-cent mesh frisbee he bought on Amazon Prime, which, by the way, proudly holds a 1.5-star rating. He has an audience member close his eyes and just chuck this piece of junk blindly into the crowd, purely to select a totally random stranger. The frisbee lands on a guy named Brett.
So he brings Brett up to the stage. Brett and the other audience member, Jeff, have literally never spoken a word to each other. Yet Pearlman is going to have Brett, the total stranger, guess the dinner guest locked inside Jeff's head. Why? Well, because Pearlman believes the real trick to success, both on a stage and in pretty much every facet of life, is projecting total conviction. He says the number one factor in success is an unshakable belief that it will work. It becomes entirely self-fulfilling.
Pearlman looks Brett dead in the eye and tells him, "You have to believe it in order to achieve it. Look not into his eyes, look into his soul." By empowering Brett with this overwhelming, zero-doubt energy, Brett miraculously shouts out, "Barack Obama!" And guys, he gets it exactly right. No way, right? But Pearlman proves that when you eliminate hesitation and just project absolute confidence, an unshakable belief truly does act as a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So as we wrap up this explainer, the big takeaway here isn't just about learning some neat party trick to guess celebrities, or even just remembering names at a networking event, though, let's be honest, those are incredibly useful tools. But the real magic is in the mindset. Ask yourself, where in your own life could you apply a mentalist's unshakable belief? How could replacing your own self-doubt with that kind of absolute self-fulfilling conviction completely transform your next high-stakes presentation, or a big interview, or just a daily interaction? Ultimately, the real power isn't in reading minds, it's in mastering your own.